right, so guys, we got this lovely boom mic here. Normally the normal mic's not working, so we've got this this piece of greatness.
Well, same time next week. Mike, where are you going? It's my last show here. Okay, I guess I'll stay.
SportsZone starts now. Hello there, and welcome to the season finale of ATV's hit sports show, SportsZone. I am your host, Ben Florence. The panel is to my left. First up, the man who is making his final appearance on this show forever until he rides into the sunset, Tyler Tomea. Sir, how are you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready.
Need some Kleenex?
I will not be needing that at all, unlike last year for our previous host.
Yeah, that was bad.
I'm good to go. I'm ready.
All right. Michael Gardner, who actually did end up showing up. He was like 30 minutes late, but sir, how are you?
For the sake of Tyler Tomea and the sake of putting this jacket in the rafters, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Well, you were 30 minutes late, so you almost missed it.
Gloss over
Last
that.
and certainly not least, who is actually making his last stop until next spring, Dylan Schote. How you doing, buddy? Are you getting wistful as well?
I don't know. It's kind of weird seeing that this is gonna be the last one of the semester, and the last one I'll be taping in almost a year now.
Yikes.
So it'll be a weird time away, I guess.
Yeah, next year it'll just be me and Gardner just flying. So now that would be terrible. But all right, so let's talk a little NBA playoffs because I know that's what our camera woman really wants us to talk about. The NBA playoffs kicked off over the weekend. 4 games on Saturday, 4 games on Sunday, a couple games yesterday on Monday, 3 games tonight. Tyler, who has looked most impressive thus far?
Well, a very small sample size, obviously, with only a couple games in both series. But I think the Spurs. I think a lot of people had questions with them going into the playoffs. They kind of struggled down the stretch at the end of this season. You didn't know if their health would hold up. They took care of business at home in Game 1 over the Lakers. And I think that's what they need to do after a couple of disappointing playoff performances the last couple seasons. I think the Spurs did what they had to do, got a double-digit win at home, and I expect them to advance into the second round.
Mike, what do you think?
I would go with the Spurs, saying I was surprised to see Ginobili back and pretty much sort of at good health, even though it is against the Lakers team without Kobe Bryant. But I'll say the Denver Nuggets, a team that now has a little more of an advantage now that the Golden State Warriors don't have David Lee. They pretty much can easily sort of put a lid on the hot shooting Warriors team. And Denver, even without Gallinari, is still continuing to run their fast-paced offense and firing on all cylinders.
All right, Dylan, you got to make it a clean sweep of Western Conference teams, or who you got?
I am gonna make it a clean sweep. I'm also gonna have to agree with the Spurs, pretty much for the same reason that both of them said. Obviously, they're playing a weakened Lakers lineup, but the Spurs they just looked great. But I'm also gonna throw in the New York Knicks. They were down early on in that game, but they ended up coming back strong. Carmelo Anthony with 36 points and holding the Celtics to something like 4 or 5 points late in the game. If they can keep that defense up and pick it up like that, they'll definitely be able to, I think, challenge the Heat in the later on if they make it past the Celtics.
All right, guys. So as Tyler mentioned, small sample size, but 1 or 2 games in. Mike, who do you think is somebody that's already in trouble?
I mean, I guess you could say OKC. Houston, I don't know.
OKC's in trouble? They're up 1-0, won by
Well, no. I mean, that means you have to go to the 4 or 5 series, and that could be Chicago Bulls. So are they down 2-0 to the Nets?
They
tied it.
Night.
But I don't know.
So basically, you're just not prepared.
It's not that I'm not prepared. It's just 2 games in, a small sample size.
I said that.
Is as hard to see. Whoever's in trouble is whoever the 8 seeds are, or the Boston Celtics. I'll say that. Because they're making the Knicks look better than many are saying.
Yes.
Making Carmelo Anthony seem like the second coming, which he is a good player. And our resident Berman of the Post, Jaron Berman, is probably very excited as his Twitter was blowing up this weekend. But they really have to change something to at least give the Knicks a challenge when they come back to Boston in the Garden.
Yeah.
The other Garden.
Berman of the Post was actually on my friend's radio show out in Penn State, and he is probably the most boring guy in the history of television.
The actual Berman of the Post.
Yes, Mark Berman.
Not the
of
Village
Post.
Fool.
Not the Village Fool, because the Village Fool sucks, and hopefully he's never on any kind of show ever again, because he won't be on this show. I'm just kidding. Dylan, again, small sample size, hence why Mike struggled, but he struggles with anything. So if you could look at any team, would you say any team's in trouble thus far?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the obvious pick here because it's the one that's on everyone's mind, and it has to be the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, personally, I didn't think that losing Kobe was going to hurt them that much. I figured that Nash, Howard, Gasol would be able to step it up a little bit. And if you look at it, Dwight Howard had a decent game, but his numbers are kind of skewed. I think he went for 20 and 15. But again, with the way the rest of the team was playing and just how great the Spurs were playing, I do not see them continuing on. It could very well possibly be a sweep for the Lakers in this series, unless maybe the Spurs decide to rest Ginobili, rest some of their starters in some of the next upcoming games, figuring that they'll have an easy few games over the Lakers. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers get swept. It's just been a disappointing end to the season for the Lakers, with one that, especially in the offseason, started out just so strong with their acquisitions.
Now, Tyler, I'll actually ask you kind of a similar question. Of a team in trouble, what do you think about the Golden State Warriors? David Lee's now out with his injury. It's a big double threat, guy in the post for them.
All-star.
Are they all-star as well? Is Golden State in serious trouble?
Yeah, I think Golden State is done. They had a great chance actually to steal Game 1 in a place where no one wins in Denver. Denver has 3 home losses this year. Golden State in that.
has the same amount.
Times about 4.
I think they had 3 home wins.
Hey, I see what he did there.
Well
Yeah, I mean, Golden State, they were right there until Andre Miller's, layup put them up, put Denver for the 2-point win. I think without David Lee, there's really no chance. But to get back to your original question, I think one team in trouble is the Hawks. I think they really didn't show up at all in their first game in Indiana. And when you look at their franchise, Josh Smith is going to be a free agent after this year. They've been the 5 or the 6 seed for the past couple of years now and have done nothing in the playoffs. I think this year and going forward, the Hawks are definitely a team that's in trouble.
At least they're kind of rebuilding now. They traded away Joe Johnson, got a little more flexibility. But
Very tough to rebuild, though.
it is very true. I agree 100%. So, final question. Let's look ahead a little bit. I'll just make it a yes or no question. Is there any chance that we do not see a Heat Thunder rematch in the finals, Tyler?
I think Heat Thunder, definitely.
Mike?
I'll say no.
Really? What you got then?
San Antonio, if
Really?
they sweep the Lakers.
Thunder. I like it. Good stuff. All right, Dylan.
Passing it on.
I'm going to say, it's going to be Heat Thunder. I mean, obviously, there's always a chance, like Gardner said, that the Thunder can end up losing to the Spurs, but I just think the way both teams are playing, it's going to be Heat Thunder final.
Guys, great stuff. Our season finale is just rolling on right now. I hope you stay tuned for some more Sports Zone.
Welcome to third base, getting to third base, that is. I'm Andrew Hirsch. With me is Deepak and Dylan for what is going to be my final, getting to third base here at American University. I graduate in 2.5 weeks, but enough about me. All right, April, just about over. Where do you see things lining up in terms of the races, Dylan?
Well, the races is definitely something that you can't just rely just on April for what's happened so far to kind of pick it until the end to see what's going to go on. Because there's been a lot of teams that have been really hot. There's been a lot of players that have been really hot that are definitely just going to slow down over the rest of the season. But as of right now, one team that I definitely see kind of continuing this streak up is the Atlanta Braves. I think that they're definitely going to end up making it into that World Series in the end. They were definitely up there with the Nationals for the battle. Everyone knew that was going to be a battle in the NL East between those two teams. And the way that the Braves have just been handling it with the bats, handling it with the pitching so far this year. It'll be interesting to see if Paul Maholm can kind of keep that up. But I definitely see Atlanta Braves being that World Series. And I'm still liking the Tigers right now as coming out of the AL. I just think that'll be the best pick with Martinez back once he gets back onto a roll. He's kind of slow right now, but I think it's going to be Braves, Detroit Tigers in the World Series.
All right, well, we shall see. Also, too, Tigers today, as of this taping, calling up future closer Bruce Rondon.
Yeah, future closer, attempted closer this year. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know. He's still young. He's still very young.
Right.
So in a few years, I don't even think next year he'll be the closer. I think a year or two he'll need it. So.
Right. Well, he has a good fastball. The only thing is he can't control it, and he's got to improve his secondary pitch.
Yeah, and I mean we've seen that with the Tigers before. They had Joel Zumaya a few years ago,
Right.
who all he could throw was the fastball. He just threw it in there 99, 100 almost every single time, and it was effective for a short amount of time until his arm got tired. And I don't even know where he is now. I don't think he's in the majors, and if he is, he's working his way up to get on a team. But it'll be interesting to see how Rondon does for the rest of the season.
Right. I think Zumaya is actually retired. Long story short,
so.
Be careful playing Guitar Hero, folks. Deepak, what players do you see continuing their hot streaks and or cold streaks?
I can definitely see. I mean, Dylan alluded to this, that not many players are really starting off hot. You look at any team, you'll find that a bunch of their star players are struggling. But I would say that one guy who will continue his streak, at least in being productive, is Miguel Cabrera.
Right.
Reigning MVP for the AL. He's off to a solid start. I think he's hitting somewhere in the low 300s with about 4 or 5 home runs. So, I mean, he'll obviously continue with that. He's really the rallying force behind the Tigers'
Absolutely.
offense. Pitching. Pitching for both leagues is different. It's not different. It's difficult. You're looking at a whole bunch of teams where they're star aces. Kane, Price, Hamels.
Right.
These guys are all struggling to start off the year, and surprisingly, like the best pitcher out there, or one of them, is Matt Harvey of the Mets. Now, being a rookie, I could say right now he's just lucky. He won't continue to be a stellar pitcher. I do feel he will lead the Mets in wins.
Yeah.
But I definitely look to see the aces that we know of definitely going back to their place as the top starters. So I'm talking maybe, I want to say Price will be 1 or 2 again for the AL Cy Young.
Okay.
And I want to see Kane as NL Cy Young.
I'd love to see King win. I think he's constantly been one of the more underrated pitchers. Is he still hurt, or is he? I thought he was on the DL.
No,
briefly.
he's back.
He is back. Okay.
He might have had some sort of minor ailment, but I
Yeah.
think for the most part he's been healthy.
Okay. So last question here. I mean, it is very early to suggest this, but we're almost through the middle of this decade. I want to see, what teams do you think will dominate at the end of this decade, 2018, 2019? A little futurist argument here, but
Future. That one's definitely, like you said, early on is going to be very difficult to factor. But what I'm going to pick 2 teams, and there's absolutely no favoritism being put into this, and I'm serious when I say this. But I'm going to say the Washington Nationals and the Boston Red Sox.
okay.
I'm going to say the Nationals because, I mean, they have stars right now, Strasburg and Harper.
Right.
But when you look at the rest of their team, they have Desmond, Espinoza, Span, like Gio, all those
Rendon
players.
just came up.
And yeah, he just brought up their number 1 prospect just came up. These are all people who are under the age of 30 on their teams
Scary.
that are their star players. And they're just going to keep getting better, especially with Strasburg, Rendon, and Harper. So those, I definitely think that in the future, they're definitely going to be the force of the NL East. And then I say the Red Sox, they have a loaded AAA farm system and a lot of young talent there.
Right, like Bogarts.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to stick with 2 NL teams here. Go with the Nationals. I mean, just all the stuff they have right now. These young guys. Harper, who they're saying is already on pace to be like the MVP for the NL. He has 7 home runs already, which is ridiculous. So the Nationals, and then I'm going to actually go with the Giants. I mean, they still have a relatively young pitching staff. Their offense is still trying to get back to where it is, but they're going to hold on.
All right. That's it for getting to third base. This will be my last time on camera. So quickly, I want to thank Dylan, Deepak, Ben, Michael Gardner, all of you guys, Chris Eldab, Eric Wilkins. Miss you, buddy. And we'll see you in the fall.
I'm sorry. Oh, we're back. Didn't see you there. I'm Ben Florence. Welcome back to SportsZone. We're going to talk a little NFL draft. The NFL draft will actually have occurred by the time this episode hopefully gets on the air when you watch it. But anyways, I don't care. Let's talk about Kansas City Chiefs. Number 1 overall pick. Mike Gardner, you're kind of a Chiefs guy. Who are they going to take with the first selection?
Luke Jokel, is that his name?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. I pronounced it right. Shout out to him. Has to be an offensive tackle. They got Alex Smith as a quarterback. They have Jamal Charles back once again. This time not coming back off an injury like he did a few years ago. Hopefully Peyton Hillis will stay with the Chiefs as a good power back, sort of as a sub. Dexter McCluster. If the Chiefs could also get maybe a steal for a wide receiver later in the draft, because Baldwin did not really do the best of years, yet they have Dwayne Bowe returning, but they need to fix that O-line because it is horrendous.
Yep.
Like the meal at TDR today.
The meal at TDR was great.
Tonight?
Oh, I had a fresh grilled cheese. So
There you go. Good
Tyler-
grilled cheese, by the way.
Very good.
Has to start the offensive line, though.
All right, if Mike will stop.
To Tyler, as I
All
said
right.
something on his
No
suit.
one overall selection will be.
Yeah, 100% will be Luke Jokel. And it's confirmed by the fact that the Chiefs are actively shopping Brandon Albert. They have the Dolphins interested in him, get Brandon Albert out of the way, and move Luke Jokel smoothly into that position at left tackle, protect the blind side. I think 100% he goes number 1.
But even if they trade him, they still got a hole at right tackle. But Dylan, I mean, a lot of people are thinking maybe they'll take Eric Fisher, offensive tackle from Central Michigan. Do you think it will be Jokel or could it be Fisher or maybe a surprise? I don't know.
I mean, it could be Fisher, but they're definitely going to be taking an offensive lineman here. And I think the just number one on everyone's big board, the number one that everyone's kind of been looking at has been Luke Jokel. Like, they acquired Alex Smith in the offseason. Everyone knows that they need to strengthen up that offensive line. They were lowest in the league in the passing offense last year. They need to protect Alex Smith, so they're going to go offensive line. If they don't go offensive line, I think they're actually going to focus on the defense kind of early on. Maybe they'll try to pick up a linebacker. And if they do that, maybe they could think about maybe trading back. But
Possible.
that's the only other option. They're either going to take Luke Jokel, maybe another offensive lineman, or they're going to trade back a little bit and pick up some draft picks later on in the draft, as well as a defensive lineman or a linebacker there.
Interesting what our good friend Andy Reid does in his first year running the Kansas City Chiefs. But one thing that they will not be taking, well, actually we can't say for certain, but one thing they won't be taking is a quarterback. Widely considered, Tyler, to be a pretty weak draft for quarterbacks. And looking like, the team that's going to be probably taking a quarterback, Buffalo at 8, but nobody knows what they're going to do. They could take Geno Smith, Ryan Nassib, who knows. But what do you think? How many quarterbacks do you think will go in the first round, if any?
I think, obviously, Nassib and Geno Smith will go in the first round. I think Matt Barkley might.
Really?
I'm not sure. I think definitely 2, though. Bills are a tough position.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't love either of those quarterbacks. Kind of their hand is forced just by the fact that they haven't drafted a franchise quarterback since they went with J.P. Lossman.
Yeah.
And that's been, 8-9 years. So Nassib is who I've heard the most from the Bills' point of view. Hopefully for Buffalo fans it works out just so they can have that guy and not have to continue to go with these stopgap options as they've done.
Mike, a lot of points have been made that new Bills coach Doug Marrone was a coach of Syracuse and obviously has a good hand knowledge of Ryan Nassib. Similar to last year, the Miami Dolphins hired Mike Sherman, offensive coordinator, who was the coach of Ryan Tannehill. Do you think Buffalo will go Nassib? Will they go Geno Smith, which most people, except for like John Gruden, say is the better quarterback prospect? Or could they even go somewhere else? What do you think the Bills would do? Because that's, I think, really could be possibly interesting on how the draft focuses, particularly the quarterbacks thereafter.
Well, it's crazy because didn't Kevin Kolb first say on his introduction to Buffalo he wants to win a Super Bowl with them?
Yeah, but everybody says that.
Well, why wouldn't they not
I
want to
wanted
take
to
a
win a
chance
Super
on
Bowl with
him?
SportsZone. That's not happening either.
Yeah, we didn't have a full team together.
No, we didn't.
I wasn't even there.
Thanks, Chris.
But I don't know. I'd probably say no because I could easily see them pick someone else up. I'm not the best person for Buffalo analysis. Has
No,
to be
you're
our
not.
camerawoman, Erin Vail, who's doing a
legend
great job
herself.
today as always. But it's such a mess because they have so much to contend for in their division. So if they get another quarterback, it could just be more focused on that with a QB battle and was it summer training and what's it called?
Training
camp.
Yes, summer
Yes,
training.
summer training, as we love
Orchard
it.
Park, or wherever they have their.
Or the OTCs, aren't those what those are called?
OTAs.
OTAs. So That's why on our radio show I asked you to do all the draft analysis, but
that is true.
I don't know.
I carried the show as always, but Dylan showed.
Not on your back though.
You do have my back. Quarterbacks, they're always a focus on. Pretty much everyone's saying this is a weak draft for quarterbacks, but how many do you think there could see a lot, maybe none, or just one? Could possibly see teams moving into the late first round, take a guy, Matt Barkley, E.J. Manuel, Mike Glennon, Steve Rosenberg. Who do you think? What do you think?
I actually don't see any quarterbacks being taken in the first round this year.
I like it.
I think there's no teams that desperately, for the most part, I mean, you can kind of pick out some of the teams, the Browns, Dolphins, Jaguars, like teams like that have a quarterback that may not be the best option for the future. But I don't think any team right now has a desperate need for quarterback that they're going to go and pick one in the first round.
Yeah.
Even the Buffalo Bills, I know we just mentioned it, they have Kevin Cobb.
Legend.
He was okay when he was in with the Eagles before he got injured. So I don't think there's any teams that desperately need a quarterback that they're going to go, I don't want to say waste a first round pick, but go and pick one in the first round. So I think it's going to wait to that second round, and maybe that's when the Buffalo Bills or other teams like that are going to pick up Geno Smith or quarterbacks like that.
Possible.
But it doesn't make sense to me based on the other teams and what they actually need. I don't see a quarterback being taken in the first round.
Fair enough. Guys, quickly, two-word answer, first and last name. Who do you think will be the biggest impact player of this draft, Dylan?
Tyler.
Tyler, I should say.
Touche.
Pardon me, I've already replaced him. I placed you with Dylan.
Biggest impact player, I'm going to go someone I think might go in the late first round, DeAndre Hopkins out of Clemson.
Excellent. Love it. All right, Mike Gardner, who you got?
He's a good future back, Marcus Lattimore.
Really?
Because if Adrian Peterson could come back and have the season he had, Lattimore could possibly do the same because he has the mental mindset.
All right, and Dylan, who you got?
I'm going to go with a big name on the board, and I'm going to go Manti Te'o. I think he's going to go first round to the Ravens.
Excellent.
Which is going to be a little bit hard for him. I think they're going to hopefully hope that he can fill in for Ray Lewis. And with everything around him, that emotional leader that they lost, Teo's an emotional leader at Notre Dame. I think that he's going to be a big impact player, at least early on in his career.
I'm going to tell you a name because I'm going to inject some analysis because I can. Jarvis Jones, who will go lower where he should be. He's a top 5 caliber player, best impact player of this draft. So that's it for our NFL draft action. Stay tuned for some more SportsZone as we say goodbye to Tyler and Andrew and Dylan temporarily and Gardner if he continues to show up late. And
I'm on the hot seat.
You are watching SportsZone.
Hello and welcome to Ice Time, SportsZone's NHL hockey segment. For the last time of the semester, for the last week of regular season play in the NHL.
Last time ever.
Hockey is back.
Hockey has been back, but now it is coming to a close with the regular season. Sadly, very short season. Really, really sad about that. I'm Erin Vail. This is Ben Florence and Deepak Bhagat. Back for the last time on Ice Time. It's kind of sad because we really didn't get that many quality, if any quality, Ice Time segments.
Yeah, not very many quality.
What about when Paul and Zach came?
That was great.
They
That was
saved the
probably
show.
arguably the best segment
They
we've
saved
had.
the show.
But yeah, last week of regular season,
Please come
and
back.
it's about to be playoffs, and there really is no greater playoff time than the NHL hockey playoffs.
Stanley
to be
Cup
honest.
playoffs, as they call it in Canada.
I mean, or NHL playoffs, or hockey playoffs, or playoffs that the Sabres,
How about just playoffs?
Flyers, and probably Devils
How
are
about you just ask
not
a
in.
We're talking
question?
playoffs.
How about you just
So-
ask a question?
So anyway, speaking of these playoffs, I'm just gonna segue right into that.
There you go.
Who do we have, Deepak, in the West?
I'm saying it's going to come down to the Chicago Blackhawks and the LA Kings. However,
Because those are the only two teams you know in the West.
probably. And but the Blackhawks, based off of all the success they've had in the year, with that amazing streak to start off the season, they're going to be going.
All right, Ben, East. Sorry.
In the East, it's going to be really hard to go against Pittsburgh Penguins. They've got so much offense. It's just unbelievable, especially because they're hoping that Sidney Crosby will be cranked up, 100% ready to go for the postseason. But a team to look out for, another team that's been great this year, a little bit of surprise, Montreal Canadiens. have been tremendous under the new and then also former head coach Michel Terrion. And Carey Price in goalie is just unbelievable. That guy is great. Remember, Pierre Maguire said it was a mistake to draft Carey Price when they had a couple other guys, and it shows that Pierre Maguire is an idiot. Just want to throw that in, but I think they will not be able to topple Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, it'd be a really great underdog scenario if any team were able to topple the Penguins, who have had already a 15-game winning streak.
How about the Icelanders? How about the Icelanders?
And another 7-game win streak, which is currently going to be ended maybe tonight, maybe not, probably not.
Hope not.
So another question's coming up is the question of the Hart Trophy, the Calder Trophy, Vezina Trophy. Sidney Crosby is kind of considered the league contender for the Hart. But now that he's missed all this time, Ovechkin and Jonathan Toews from the Blackhawks are kind of entering into play. So who do you see taking home that coveted Hart Trophy?
I think it's going to be Alex Ovechkin. I think that it was Sidney Crosby's award to lose, but because he's missed all this time, I think that'll probably take him out of consideration, especially because the team is still doing so great. Alex Ovechkin has been basically, if you're a Sim City fan, he's been in God mode, especially of late. The team has been absolutely rolling. They're surging into the playoffs right now, and Alex Ovechkin has just been awesome of late. So I really think that it's going to be Ovi winning the Hart.
All right, Deepak, who do you have winning the Hart Trophy? MVP, NHL MVP.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm actually going to go with Jonathan Toews. He's an unbelievable player. He's how old is he? It's like
probably like 22.
21, yeah. And I mean,
very cute, but that's besides the point.
He's already led the Blackhawks to one Stanley Cup championship, and he's definitely a front
against
runner.
the Flyers.
I don't like you. But
anytime there's a shot of the Flyers, I'm going to take it. Like,
as you should.
But I see him winning the Hart.
That's nice. All right, any other thoughts? Calder is Rookie of the Year. Ben, who do you see taking Rookie of the Year?
Calder Rookie of the Year is going to be a tough question. I really think it's going to be on Edmonton. They've got that young defenseman. I'm drawing a blank at his name. The guy they literally just drafted. He had that awesome. He scored his first goal, and he had the game-winning goal, and he slid across the ice. I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's pretty wild name, but that guy is a legend. So
Deepak, the Vezina Trophy is for goalies.
Why didn't I get that? I wanted that.
Taking the Vezina Trophy.
Screw you, Aaron.
NHL. You got Brodeur. You got Carey Price.
Why are you giving him that?
I was gonna say Marty.
What is this?
I was gonna say Marty.
Okay.
I mean, he's what, like 41 years old, and
why are you giving him Marty? He's been out for like 30 games.
He's literally been playing for the Devils for 20 years.
Yeah.
So for our lifetime.
Greatest days of my life.
And so.
Why do you give him answers?
Let's go with Marty.
That's it?
Why?
Why?
He's been out for 30 games.
Jonathan Quick, Ellie King,
Carey Price.
You guys are yelling at me.
Brian Boucher.
Yeah, I am yelling at you.
Ryan Miller.
No,
No.
it's not.
Give it to Ryan Miller.
It's not.
Give it to Ryan Miller. Miller time. Screw you, Aaron.
So this is our last Ice 10, and I am so thankful to be host of this segment. I love this segment. I love being able to talk about hockey every week.
Except for when hockey wasn't here.
Except for when there wasn't hockey. So hopefully we'll have a full
And then she couldn't remind us that there was
year
hockey.
of hockey next.
What happened to Addison?
next
Bring her
year.
back.
Bring
Addison
so
back.
thanks for not
Jonathan Quick.
watching.
Rest in
Thanks
peace.
for actually watching.
Who's gonna win?
Hopefully we'll have some better panelists to talk about the NHL who actually know something about NHL.
I gave great insight.
Over the summer.
He gave him the answers.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next year. Enjoy the
Awful.
playoffs.
I'm sorry.
You're watching SportsZone.
You went for.
I'm telling you. All right. Anyway,
Stay out of it.
welcome back to Sports Zone. I don't know what was going on there, but we're back with the main panel, our favorite all-in-all segment, where we talk about something and then something completely unrelated. First thing, Al Michaels, friend of the show. I know he's watching right now on sportszone.auatv.com. Al Michaels got a DUI in Southern California. Dylan, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's just what you can think of when it comes to any other big name sports star or big name actor or actress getting a DUI. It's kind of like you're well known, you've done all this stuff. Like, everyone has their mistakes. I know it's been recently, Giovanni Gallardo of the Brewers had one. Reese Witherspoon recently had one too. I don't know. Apparently it's common within this past month of April. Apparently it's something that everyone's doing. I wouldn't suggest it. But it's just one of those things you just kind of look at it and you're just like, why do you do this, and just kind of throw it off to the side.
Now, Tyler, I know you've never had a DUI, right?
Nope.
All right.
Yes,
So,
clean
so then
sheet.
what? As somebody that doesn't drink and drive because he's a responsible American, what's your thoughts on this development with our good friend Al?
Well, I think with something like this or a situation like this, the first thing you got to look at, and the best thing that came out of it was that no one got hurt and that no one got injured. That's the best thing. In terms of looking towards the future, I don't think he'll be suspended by NBC or anything. I think he'll still be ready to go that first Thursday night game between Baltimore and Denver. But I think the main takeaway, no one got hurt in this situation.
Yeah, it'd be ironic they're going to the Mile High City, so maybe he'll be a little mile high as well. Their good friend Don Meredith, the late Don Meredith, famously said on Monday Night Football back in the 70s. But Mike, as somebody that can handle his alcohol, Al Michaels, barely at or above the legal limit, like just a little bit. But apparently, his field sobriety test must have been a failure. So what's your make? Can Al Michaels not handle his alcohol?
That's such a vague question to ask,
course it's a
only
vague
fitting on this segment.
On this show?
I want to give a shout out to Dylan, though, for the Reese Witherspoon plug. Add a way to keep up to the date with the gossip blogs and everything, because I actually saw that on Twitter.
Yeah.
I thought, what in the world is going on with this?
I feel like, by the way, in the gym, there's always a Reese Witherspoon movie playing. It's either the
Has
one
to
with
be.
Owen Wilson as a baseball player, or the one with Tom Hardy and Chris Pine. I feel like those are always playing in the gym. But anyways.
All the Legally Blondes, because there were like four.
Legally
three of
Blonde
them.
one is a fantastic movie. The second
first one,
Legally
yeah.
Blonde is
Good chick flick,
It's
as
a-
we can detain to.
Chick-
See, we have seen our handful of that.
Chick flick, got our good friend Victor Garber.
Exactly. Of course, the reason why everyone's doing this is because they're all copying my birthday celebrations, which was last Tuesday, as I
Yes.
turned 21. So everyone's like, oh, we got to get on the same level as Michael. So nothing personal for that. I don't encourage everyone to drink and drive. Luckily, we don't. Look, I don't drive in D.C., so we take the metro everywhere.
Yes.
But hopefully he'll be back, because our good friend Marv Albert got to run him with the police years back. And he is now considered the voice of basketball.
We're now going to get into the Marv Albert thing. So he had issues with prostitutes.
Yikes.
Biting prostitutes.
We still love him, the voice of the Final Four
We
next
do.
year.
He was off NBC for a couple years. Bob Costas filled him. But anyways, kids, don't drink alcohol is the drug.
Al
of the
Michaels
devil.
will come back. Full swing.
It's ironic I brought up Marv Albert biting people. Luis Suarez of Liverpool Football Club, he bit a player on Chelsea on, I believe it was Saturday, right? Sunday, little EPL Sunday action.
Fantastic.
And then right after that goes out and scores a goal. Now, Tyler, you don't bite people, but
No.
what's your thought?
Well, an interesting thing here is that he is a repeat offender.
Yes,
he
he
has done
is.
this once before. His history of it, and also our biting expert Mike Tyson says, it happens sometimes.
Yep.
That was his
Very
analysis on the
true.
situation. He says it happens sometimes. And then Mike Tyson ended up following Luis Suarez on Twitter, so we had that
Yeah.
situation. But you got to watch out for Luis Suarez, especially when you're in the box.
Yeah.
Did end up getting a 3-game ban, but could do it again. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, Mike, what's up with Luis Suarez? Why does he pull this?
Well, for one, he's from Uruguay, and according to
Wait. What's wrong with people from Uruguay?
No, I'll get to that.
Okay.
It's statistically proven that guys that come from Latin American countries that play in the EPL always meet the EPL players from the United Kingdom and Britain that come with a chip on their shoulder. They're a completely different class of soccer players. So they're guys that could really get under your skin. And he obviously must have been someone that people get under his skin, as this is not only the second time he's bit someone, but he's also got in trouble way back when he first joined Liverpool for racist comments. So, but then, as you mentioned, he scored, as he is one of the top, I'd say one of the top 11 best players in the world, considering how well he did in 2010 in South Africa, and coming to a big-name club like Liverpool with money to blow, pounds on pounds, or pounds, not euros, who am I kidding? So, I guess if the manager has faith in a guy that's good, they'll take the little 3-game bans, because that's where you have subs on the bench. Luckily, no one on AU has bitten anyone.
That we know.
Dale McDonald has been in fights on the
I saw Dan
field.
McDonald working out earlier.
The sheriff is getting ready for next year.
He's a
Hopefully,
legend.
we will win.
Love that guy.
But if he scores the goals,
Can we get Dale McDonald on the show? That'd be great.
we have had him on the show.
We get him
Our
on the
show,
show.
this
Oh,
show.
this
Yeah,
show.
Oh, we can
What
push.
show do you think I'm talking about?
F4, dude. He's been on our show.
Dylan, what's your thoughts?
He's a good
Biting
player.
guy, scoring goal. If he scores a goal, is it okay to bite a guy?
Well, I just want to point out Mike Gardner saying he's one of the top 11 players in the world.
Do you not agree?
Most people put on the scale of like 1 to 10, not 1 to 11. But
was 11.
We'll forget about
There's
that
11
one.
on a soccer pitch, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what he's talking
Soldier
about. I don't know.
boy,
He's done it before. I don't see the point of it. It's kind of going out of your way to bite someone. I feel like he should receive more than just a 3-game ban. I think it was an 8-game ban last time. So
Thrown out for life.
Straight cash, homie.
That's
something
how-
bigger.
That's how
Something
you
bigger than
spread
what's happened.
diseases. By the mouth.
Well, the life ban was the dude in Greece, and that was a disaster.
Yeah, well, that was bad. They're telling me to wrap it up, but I don't
Better
care
hurry.
because we've got time to kill. So you're watching Sports Zone. Keep it locked.
Hello and welcome to Sports Zone. This is Shin to Chin. I'm here with Brian Shin, and we're going to be covering all the MMA stuff that's been happening in this world. And this past weekend, we had a pretty big fight. I know all of you out there were watching it because it was a free fight on Fox. And we're gonna talk about one of the fights, and this was the Nate Diaz-Josh Thompson fight. And we knew going into it, if I remember correctly from last week, you said this fight could go either way, really. And it seemed like it was gonna be kind of doing that until Thompson threw in a head kick. And Nate Diaz gets rocked, ends up kind of tripping, falling down as he's getting hit by Thompson. And this ends up Diaz ends up losing via TKO, which is the first time in his professional career, or in his MMA career, he's lost via TKO. Brian, what did you think about this fight?
I thought it was really interesting because I think last time I actually had Nate Diaz winning this fight. Josh Thompson is someone who's not really that well known, I guess, to most UFC fans because he hasn't fought in, I think, since UFC double digits, like a really long time ago. So, yeah, to see Josh Thompson do well, I was really, good. It was good to see. I didn't expect Nate Diaz to get finished. I don't think anyone ever expects Nate Diaz to get finished in either way. But he got clipped with 2 head kicks in the first round, I believe. Yep. And then the second round, he got caught flush, and it was just a ticking time bomb because he kept hitting it, and Nate Diaz wasn't doing the proper things to defend his chin against that left high kick.
Yeah, and I mean, the important thing to keep in mind here is both Nick and Nate Diaz have never been finished until this point. So it's very interesting to see. And I know afterwards you were talking that this win might end up pushing Thompson to get a title shot in one of his next fights.
I think 1 more or 2 more, and he can get a title shot. I can see it happening. Yeah. He's performed very well.
Yeah, so that's something we'll have to keep in mind for the next one. But the main card of the night, it was Benson Henderson versus Gilbert Melendez. And we all know Henderson's great fighter, young, extremely flexible with everything that he does. He kind of comes out of nowhere with some of the things that he has. But Melendez definitely took the fight to him in this. And there was a chance, there was a time in there when we thought Melendez was actually going to win this fight. What ended up happening? What was that turning point for Henderson from when Melendez won those first 2 rounds to Henderson ending up winning via split decision?
Yeah, the split decision was kind of strange. I thought Benson Henderson did enough in rounds 3, 4, and 5. Plus, the second round was fairly close, I have to say. This is one of the 2 fights that went to decision tonight. There were 8 KOs on this pay-per-view card, so there were a lot of knockouts. But I wasn't expecting Benson to finish Gilbert Melendez. Gilbert is very, very strong. Yeah. He's very hard to take out, like all of the guys from the scrap pack. I have to say, Benson played it safer than I expected him to, and I wasn't really wowed by his performance. He wants to break Anderson Silva's win streak record, and he might be able to, but if he keeps fighting like this, a little bit more conservative, then he won't be. I don't think he'll be as recognized as dangerous and as dangerous as Anderson Silva.
No, exactly. It was kind of more of a boring fight because he kind of was laying back a little bit. Melendez kind of guided where they were moving throughout most of the fight, but in the end, Benson just kind of landed more strikes, landed more knees, landed more kicks.
Yeah.
So that's what ended up winning it for him in the end. So that was last weekend. This weekend, maybe possibly fight of the year. I'm calling it now. Biggest fight that we may have ever seen. We have John Jones, great champion at the light heavyweight. I know you don't like him that much, but we got Chael Sonnen, the American gangster, the biggest smack talker in any professional sport ever. Brian.
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen's moving up for this one, but he used to fight at 205.
Yeah.
Do you think he can get back to his old ways and end up winning this fight against the champion, John Jones?
You know what? It's going to be very hard, and Chael Sonnen was not the best 205er. But back then, he didn't cut as much weight. This time, he's really put on a lot of muscle, and then he's cutting down properly, so he'll have the muscle mass of a real 205er. Especially for a very physical fighter like Chael Sonnen, a guy who likes to get in your face and just, pound your face in and then, really wrestle you. That's really good for Chael. So it could make a difference. John Jones is 100% submission defense, 100% takedown defense, and in his MMA career. So, but I'm sure Chael Sonnen can put him on his ground. But we'll just have to see and wait and see for John Jones's jiu-jitsu, his guard game, to see if it's really good or not. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good from what we've seen with him versus Machida. But let's see how good his guard is. My best guess is that we could see a submission victory from John Jones, or we could see a decision from Chael Sonnen.
Okay. And I mean, you mentioned it there, but the biggest part about this is Chael Sonnen's known for his takedowns. He's known for that. And John Jones, he's a wrestler. He's done all that sort of stuff. And we haven't really seen John Jones on his back before. So Chael Sonnen is very confident that he can take him down. He's very confident that he'll put him on his back and just ground and pound him for most of the fight. So we'll have to see if that's what he's going to be able to do. You guys can also check it out. It's a pay-per-view fight. You can try going to a bar somewhere. We're probably going to be hitting up somewhere in Chinatown, so you guys may be able to find us there. But definitely watch that fight. And it's been a great year so far with Shin to Chin, and hopefully we'll see you next spring because both of us are going abroad in the fall. But you guys will have to keep updated on your MMA knowledge. So see you next time.
See ya.
Hello and welcome back to the penultimate segment of this year's episode of Sports Zone. I'm Ben Florence. Now it's time for our favorite segment, thumbs up, thumbs down, the last of the year. But instead of just thumbs up, sometimes just reflect on the year, the good, the bad, say thanks to people. And after we get through everybody, we will introduce who will replace my good friend to the left. Mike Friel is in the mix. Holy crap, he just showed up. He hasn't been here all episode.
Thumbs up, thumbs down miracle.
So it's a thumbs up, thumbs down miracle. Oh my. So we'll go to Tyler last because he should be last as
always
as a graduate. So well, hopefully you're graduating.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Still gotta get that vets project.
Absolutely, the vets project.
The vets.
All right. So Dylan, reflect.
Reflecting on this year, it's been a great year. It's been an up and down year for the most part for Sports Zone. We've had times where we've had a full studio, 4 people on camera, right here, 2 people helping us on cameras in the studio, maybe 3 or 4 people in the back working the directors. Someone can flash the lights, someone's working the other camera. But there's also been times where they've had to do 3-man segments, 1 person on camera, 1 person in the back doing everything. So that's kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down moment right there. For the most part, it's been a thumbs up year. There's been a lot of great additions this year with some of the freshmen / sophomores that we've added. Deepak, Jaren, Mike Friel, Brian Shin coming on for a few more segments than he has in the past. So we've had a pretty solid cast that have been added this year, and hopefully that can continue. We'll be losing a few of us, whether it's just for a semester or for the rest of our time, but it's been good. We've also had some great basketball moments, flag football moments this past weekend. We're hoping to get more flag football in there this upcoming weekend and see if we can get more of that. So that's been great. But kind of a bittersweet moment of leaving. Like I said, I will be abroad next semester. I will be in St. Petersburg, Russia for the fall semester. So we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely keep in touch with everyone that's on the panel right now, see how everything's going. But I know, even though they're losing me, they'll find someone to kind of fill in for my seat every week, and it'll pick up.
Hopefully.
But overall, I think this year's been a thumbs up year. Maybe Ben can remember last year when we were standing in the studio with Eric Wilkins sitting in that seat, and
just
he
bawling.
Bawling. But naming the replacements for this year, and you got the director or you got the host seat, and I did not expect to be put in this seat, taking over for the great Micah Potashnik.
Who?
But
The mediocre Micah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm kidding.
Who?
I'm kidding. The great
but it's been a great
Shout out
year.
Seattle.
I'm definitely glad that Eric
Mediocre.
Wilkins gave me the shot to get on here, and I'm hoping that for the next year and the year after that, for our final 2 years, Ben, that me and you'll be able
Yep.
to hit it out of the park with what
Literally.
we'll be able to do. Sports reference right there. But it's been a great year, and I'm glad that we've been able to do that.
You like sports. All right. Good stuff. Dylan, Mr. Gardner, what do you got?
Okay,
This should be fun.
straight out of the box, thumbs down to CED, and a thumbs up to CED. Because thumbs down as he came in
I know where this is going.
with all the...
But mainly thumbs down, see.
Yes, with all the hype of recruiting people and getting everyone attracted to SportsZone. He was very enthusiastic.
attracted to
as he was ready for his swan song.
Yep.
For him to only leave on
Back in October.
on terms we still to this day have no idea why.
Oh, I know why.
Oh, we know why. Will the gossip be spilled?
Not now.
Okay.
Not now.
Okay, but the thumbs up is that.
We don't want tears in the last episode.
Because the thumbs up is, if it wasn't for him, I would not be in this seat.
You're so selfish, Michael. How dare you?
It's been a dream come true to be joining on the main panel, as I was
Is it really a dream come true? I mean, come on. Let's be
under the
frank.
part of me waking up this morning to not being cold in my room.
What does that have to do with
Those are
anything?
small dreams, the things I look forward to. But it's good to join you guys on the main panel, as I was once in this little girl
Oh
man's
my
seat as the
gosh.
roving
Yep.
panelist with Connor Trafton and I when Wilkins was abroad, and the great Steve Rosenberg, who apparently is entering the NFL draft now.
That's what I heard.
So
Him and Sandcastle.
that was big throwback. And also, it's interesting because
big
usually on SportsZone, so it's sort of a middle thumbs. Usually on SportsZone, we are saying goodbye to the host. And since you are not a senior, it's
Or am I?
you are going to
Da-da-da.
be back again next year. So I have no idea. Mixed
And nice
emotions.
Shyamalan surprise. I'm graduating. Yay!
So it's all about. So now it's up to you next year, because basically for the
Okay.
SportsZone host, you're like a basketball coach. It's all about your recruiting class.
And you're a basketball coach after all.
I know, and take it from one coach,
Second-rate coach.
1K. You know, I've application in for the AU job.
That's very true.
Fingers crossed that I get it, as the internship search is not going so well yet.
And it's gonna go great, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks for the positive support. But it'll be interesting to see what you do next year, because for a recruiting class,
Yeah.
the great Tom Anderson brought on you,
Yes.
CED and company, and the great Shamar Walters, rest in peace.
Not dead.
The
I saw
following
that
year,
GDR.
Wilkins brought on
No,
you as freshman of the year, and
He
a great
did
Aaron.
not bring me on. I basically brought on myself. I went to the
Oh.
General meeting. And
Well, he had
Factual errors here.
and then
As usual.
Erin Vail was also part of your class. And then CED's class this year consisted of the great Deepak,
Yep.
the Freel Deal, Shin to Chin. Was he
Yeah,
here
Shin
this
to
year?
Chin.
He was
Yeah,
roaming
Shin
last
to
year.
Michael Potashnik.
Exactly.
CED
So
had some
it's not
swings and misses though in his recruiting class.
exactly. So that's why he's
Barron.
fired. The Jaron Barron and Silas King of the
There's
Hill,
some people-
Dom King,
Dom King.
Swing and miss right there.
There's been a lot of
Skip
misses.
Finn with the fake Facebook,
Skip
which is
Finn.
a low point, by the way, because we've never heard from those guys since. I think Dom King transferred.
And I don't
too.
want to hear from him either.
Exactly.
I see Skip Fit every
So
day.
now the gauntlet is passed to you, because now you have 2 years to recruit.
Yep.
You are like the Bayheim. You're here for your 37th
We're
year.
not gonna make it. Though.
Who is the next John Wall coming out of
Oh,
SportsZone?
God.
Straight.
We don't want a John Wall. That'd be a
We want a
one-year
Tyler
deal.
Hansbrough, a guy that goes all 4 years.
Yes.
So it's up to you, Flo, to take
All right.
over a very unusual 2-year panel, or 2-year host. And also thumbs up to Tyler Tomea.
Thank you.
It's been fantastic. I know you're waiting for that.
Thank you.
Knowing the track record of this kid who's been with me with SportsZone since I started.
Yes.
Back in the day, with AU Athletics until this year when the slow demise.
We were discussing that.
We were. The eagle of the slow demise, and we're at the slow demise. Basically, took all that. So metaphors like laundry, took all his laundry, and then put it on the top to make room for other endeavors. As he did get part of Around the Horn, which
Yeah.
other fellow SportsZone alum Shamar Walters did. So maybe there could be a chance that one of us could follow in the footsteps of him. You keep rocking it in New York/New Jersey.
Yes.
The
New Jersey.
Straight New Jersey.
Yeah, just in New Jersey.
You live in New Jersey.
And hope you get a job.
Jerk.
W.I. Wilkins.
Don't be. Wow.
Which we still keep you in our prayers and thoughts. That hope for the best.
Wow.
And other things for sports. We need
Tyler now.
We need more sports zone basketball. We need more sports zone basketball.
Oh God. No.
Actually, no. The weather's been awful. Thumbs down to that. What's up with good weather when we played basketball, and then it got to like the 70s and 80s?
Yep.
I go home for the weekend, and immediately I come back.
I was going buck wild.
It gets down to
Very
like
inappropriate.
the
I'm
low
sorry,
60s, 50s. The wind is blowing. I'm wearing sweatshirt and jeans today,
Soldier boy.
and giving myself the invisible noose for the awful weather in April. But thumbs up to my birthday. That went really well, and I'm still alive.
You are still alive.
Thumbs up to Fanatic Radio as always. Great show.
You know.
And also, it's a sincere thumbs up. Thumbs up to the AU women's lacrosse team. They took the number 14 team in the country to double overtime.
Yep.
Even though they lost. Thumbs down to the Patriot League for not naming Emma Wallace head coach of the year. She went 5-1. So I think the first time in program history we've done that. We upset Johns Hopkins, who was number 12, and we only have 3 players named to the first team. And just a Rookie of the Year for the big awards. So thumbs down to the Patriot League and their selection process, as it is very biased and only favors the team that wins the regular season for the majority of their awards. That's why we need to go to the new Big East and hire Flip Saunders as our head coach.
Oh God.
No. And on that note, we'll give Tyler the last word of thumbs before we name his replacement.
Will there be confetti? Will balloons come down?
Unfortunately not. We're not a very...
Is that not in the budget, Douglas Bell?
We actually have a budget for the show. I just choose not to tap into it. I think we have a fairly decent amount. But anyways, so I just want to say from my point of view, going into this semester, I was very excited. Going to be the host. And then I was also basically a co-producer because this guy didn't want to produce because he wouldn't contribute.
Wouldn't do anything.
So out of unbeknownst to my knowledge, I'd be a producer. And first off, CD, I do want to actually legitimately apologize. At the start of the year, I was doing nothing. I was just coming here. I would make the rundown, come here, host. I wouldn't help do anything. I was very lazy. I like to think that's part of the reason why Chris left, but I think he was also swamped with other stuff. And I think also because he had a little hatred in there for me. I'm gonna spill the milk. I don't care.
Who still does hate you?
We all hate me. Everybody hates me.
Yeah.
Deepak hates me. Mike hates me. Jerry doesn't hate me because he's an idiot. So
yeah, Jared doesn't really hate anyone except everyone on the Boston Celtics as of now.
All right, but now you're just stealing my thunder.
No, but I'm bringing it back. Condition it back.
Okay, so but I mean, and then when Chris left, I was thrust into a role I was not really that prepared for. I do want to thank Chris. He helped me out with putting stuff on the website with the episodes, which has been spotty. And then fortunately, when Andrew was not able to help us out much this year, I was very grateful to him that he showed a bunch of people how to direct. So I want to thank everyone that's helped direct this, everyone that's helped me produce. Dylan's been great. He's been here every week along with me.
Looking fresh every week,
Helped me out, set up stuff. It's been great. And Dylan, you've been great all year. Great addition to the panel. And you've just been tremendous. Helping out host getting to third base. Shin's been quality stuff as always, and I mean that. So thank you to you, Mike. You're out of control, but you're a good friend of mine. I was honored when Chris left to have you on the panel, so we could have a little bit of Fanatic Radio in all of our lives. Erin Vail, who's the operating camera, helped us out. Done an awesome job as host of Ice Time. I'm a jerk during that segment, but I'm just always a jerk. So
I know.
Helped us out with doing camera, great stuff, and Dev been a big driver in helping us do SportsZone stuff outside of SportsZone.
And the live
basketball, football, the live tweets, which are but we'll let that go.
Where are they?
The guys in the back. Andrew, thanks for coming back this episode. It's you were definitely a great help early on, big help directing. And I was so sorry when you were not able to help us out more this semester. But you know what? That's life. He's graduating.
He entered
as well.
Sandman for the last time.
Enter Sandman for the last time. Great song, by the way. Mike, I know. Let's go a little bit to our freshman class. Mike Friel and D-Pack. The Mike Super Pack has been a great segment. Initially, I was skeptical. I'm like,
It was iffy when they first
do we
started.
need another baseball segment? Are you just going to comment on everything I say?
It's like your one shining moment.
It is my one shining moment.
We're cutting down the nets.
So what are you doing? Get out of here.
Like, yeah, I'm in the chair.
You're out of control. All right, mute him, please. No,
Yeah, we have the mic.
we can't. Oh, we can't. So, Mike,
Great equipment, by
D-Pack,
the way.
you've been great all year. I know there were a couple times back in the fall where you would get here before I would, and you were just like, "Can you let us in?" I'm like, "Yes, I can." And you did a great job directing, both you guys. So great stuff. Silas, when he's been here, solid contributor as well, bringing all the action. Bring a little swag, too. I like it. I like the swag.
Where is he now?
Speaking of swag, Jaron Berman.
2 Chainz.
Not here. 2 Chainz.
He's got a few on.
He is. He's not here right now because he's at the Nets game because he's second rate. But his girlfriend was lovely, so I can just.
He's at the Nats
tell you
game.
that. He's at the Nats game.
He said Nets.
I said Nats.
Oh.
You don't have to comment.
Well,
on
the best
everything.
moment though was when he yelled at you for being from Brooklyn, or when he said he was from Brooklyn, and he's like, "I'm from Long Island."
I never said he was from Brooklyn.
And he proved him wrong. He brought out your phone, and you're like, "Here's Manhattan."
No,
Here's
that's
Queens."
completely irrelevant to Jaron. That has nothing to do with that. Was a geography lesson of people saying that Brooklyn was not really part of New York. So, if there's any Kex Rhodes and her protege editing, great stuff as
No
always.
name.
Kex does so much work behind the scenes, and we can't thank her enough because I have no idea how to work that. So, Kex, you're a legend. I know you're watching, and you're just great.
She's shaking her
great
head at the
stuff.
quality of the show.
Shake her head, shake it
up, baby, now.
All right, now maybe Mike doesn't have to comment on every single thing I say. Everybody else at SportsZone, you guys have been awesome. I like to think I've done a decent job as host. I'm certainly no Steve Levy over at SportsCenter, and producing, you guys have been all great help as well. But now, before we introduce your replacement, we're gonna have to send you off. My good friend, proud to say a good friend of mine, Tyler Tomea, signing off from SportsZone for the last time. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank you guys all for your kind remarks during the thumbs up, thumbs down segment. So
You get paid for that.
3 years on the main panel. Starting the sophomore year, I came in, and after a year in the back, freshman year, kind of what Friel, Deepak, and Jaron.
Yep.
Well, Jaron's a sophomore. I always forget that. But kind of like what Friel and Deepak do now. So 3 years on the main panel, sophomore. It's gone by fast. Each episode, I'm kind of surprised that we're actually able to produce an episode. All the technological problems we have. So even going back from a couple years. But Dylan, I like to think that you're kind of the guy that kind of keeps everyone in check.
Yes.
Keeps everyone balanced.
Yes.
I know when Beef Flow, Mike and I kind of get out of control, you kind of calm everything down. As for Mike, we've had a lot of good times broadcasting AU athletic games for the 50, 75 people that listen to us. It's always been
less.
fun. Or less.
Probably less.
It's always been fun, whether it's been soccer, basketball, lacrosse, really anything. It's been a lot of fun.
With great people such as Jimmy Samaka
Yes.
and the great Malcolm Barber.
Yeah.
Malcolm Barber.
And
a legend. Pardon.
I also have to give a thumbs up to B-Flow for taking the reins this year. CED, as we've kind of alluded to, kind of put you in a tough position. You and Dylan both kind of, just dropping and hightailing it out in October. But you guys, did a nice job of taking control of the show, making sure everything, even when we would have problems, making sure we'd still have
And we had
shows.
problems.
We had tons of problems, but it was a tough situation,
There's no other
especially
way.
with you guys only being sophomores. Good job on that. Also, Erin, for
Yes.
when the hockey segment, always interesting to say the least, especially when hockey is actually discussed and you guys just insulting each other back and forth. It's always an enjoyable segment to watch back there. And I think we also have to mention Andrew for
Absolutely.
all his contributions to the show, both on camera and behind the glass as he is right now, directing, always doing a great job with his baseball knowledge. Friel and Deepak always go together. Mike Superpack, excellent job giving their baseball analysis. And Kex, I've not met her, but I'm sure she does good
Oh,
work
she's a legend.
with her video editing. And if I'm not forgetting anyone, I think Ian would be the last one. If I'm
That's
not
right.
mistaken.
Ian has helped us out a lot.
kind
Don't
of-
forget Jaron. Did you say Jaron?
I mentioned Jaron.
Did you say Silas?
Permanent of the post.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Silas. those advanced basketball stats that he gives on the in the segment are kind of a little out there.
He's our relief.
But it's definitely good. And I wished one thing I wish TED would have came for this last episode.
Yeah.
It's kind of I came in with him. Me and him actually were on the panelist sophomores along with Wilkins and Steve. So I was hoping he'd kind of come back. It would have been
Great
fun
year.
to have a last episode with him. But I think I definitely enjoyed it here. It was a lot of fun this year. I didn't know what to expect going into it, but you guys made it a lot of fun. So I thank you for that.
All right, and before we sign off, I know we're running out of time. I just want to introduce who will be replacing Tyler. I almost said Dip. Dylan will actually be replaced by kind of like a grab bag, revolving door, closer by committee, as they say.
Which could be a good thing. Could be really good. Our ratings will skyrocket.
It'll be great.
Or we'll tank like current TV.
Or don't hate on current TV. Actually.
What?
Current TV.
Or Tech Talk.
Anyway.
Which isn't a show anymore.
All right. Anyway, but now a drum roll, please. Now the who is replacing Tyler Tomea, making history as the first ever women panelist in the history of SportsZone. The great Erin Vail. Come on out.
She's the one.
You gotta come on out.
The only one.
You gotta come on out because it's tradition. Stand behind Tyler, and it's incredibly awkward, but it's tradition.
It's awkward due to the lack of volume.
Isn't she lovely?
I don't want to. That's so awkward. This is
It's
weird.
very awkward. So
This is gonna air all summer too.
This is
so
gonna air
enjoy
all
it,
summer.
everybody. I also took my jacket off already, so look like
she
a
took
scrub.
her jacket
Looks so
off, but
fly
I took
already.
my jacket off last year. So it is symbolism.
No, I have a different jacket, Mike, for you.
She has a
keep
different
going.
Break the
jacket.
fourth wall.
Well,
She's
you guys
breaking
made
the-
me come in here. I was
So-
doing camera.
For everybody here at SportsZone,
Hang out like this.
best of luck in
Awkward.
finals.
I
Best
am
of luck in your
next to him.
future endeavors.
That's
Tyler,
weird.
Andrew, Chris,
Like, we said 5 people on the panel.
Doug,
Exactly.
and everyone else. For everybody here at SportsZone ATV, I'm Ben
Awkward
Florence. Have a
to
great
sit here.
summer. We'll see you next year.
Bye.